Hello and welcome to 300 Seconds of Science. I'm Adam Bonomo, and here at 300 Seconds of Science, we are dedicated to making sure you guys stay informed on all the great happenings of things going on in our world. And I guess outside of our world too. Anyway, ever since I've been a little kid, one of the things I wanted to do was visit another planet. A whole new perspective. And who would have thought that the day and age would come whenever Mars One would be here and give the human existence just that possibility. Mars One is a non-profit organization that is dedicated to making a colony on Mars. It is offering us humans a path to escape everything we have been attached to since our origin, no longer limiting us to Earth. Space exploration is the future of our species, and soon enough, birth planets will have to be on our passports. Now, Mars One has a plan for the next 10 years, and it's worth going over, seeing as if it's the future of our species, and what is cooler than space exploration? The first people to go to Mars start training this year, 2015. As if 2015 hasn't been a great enough year in science already, but we'll get to that later. This training includes being in distant parts of the world for long periods of time, being totally detached from society, which makes sense. These people are going to be on Mars, which is a bit longer than a 2-hour drive home to see the family. While in training, the future crew will master growing crops in a variety of different environments, giving them a better chance to be able to grow crops on Mars. Although the first thing Mars One is sending to Mars is a communication satellite. They're sending that in 2018, which will allow access to communication between the two planets, taking us to an understanding we have never had before. From that point on, Earth and Mars will be able to communicate. After that, in 2020, Mars One is sending up a rover that's sole mission is to find a spot on Mars with the most hydrogen content in the soil. Now this will be where the colony is established. Then, in 2022, we'll be sending up 6 cargo units to the original rover's beacon. Now, on these cargo units will be a second rover, and until the team arrives in 2025, the 2 rovers will be positioning, connecting, and setting up the solar panel grid while collecting water from the soil. Wow, that is awesome. You know what else is awesome? The idea of an artificial leaf. What's an artificial leaf, I ask from your perspective? Well, no, the name is more fitting than you might think. So what does a leaf do? Well, it gets energy from the sun, then stores it within itself through photosynthesis, making oxygen for us to breathe. Thanks again, plants, for making it so that the human existence could be here in the first place. Anyway, the artificial leaf works just like a solar panel, but instead of just collecting heat energy from the sun, it also takes in water from the atmosphere around it. Now, what is really interesting is that it separates the water in hydrogen and oxygen, storing the hydrogen in hydrogen fuel cells. Although, what does it do with the oxygen? Well, what do leaves do? It releases it into the atmosphere. We made leaves, guys, and it just so happened that they power our world. Engineering at its finest. So, earlier this year, NASA got a $500 million budget increase to do something ground-shaking. I know you guys are sitting there saying, but this is ground-shaking? Anyway, before I go into detail, let me explain something. Every single surface that we've found water on Earth, there's been life in it. So you're starting to see where I'm going here. There's a moon that orbits Jupiter called Europa. Now Europa, like Enceladus and Ganymede, has water on it. However, Europa has 3 times the amount of water as Earth. It's kind of like an ocean planet moon. Anyway, it is a moon just with a bunch of water. Now, with that budget increase, NASA plans on sending a spacecraft out to Europa to investigate the unknown. We could finally find out if there's life on another planet. So many promising things in the science world already in 2015. Anyway, I'm Adam Bonomo, and that was 300 Seconds of Science. So go out, enjoy life, and stay curious.